Good morning. You're watching Breakfast Television. Some familiar faces and some familiar voices going to be hitting the airwaves. We've got Jody, Vance, Bill, Courage, and Patrick Zulinov on the show. Thank you for joining us. Big launch of Shore 104 FM.
Yes.
This is exciting.
It is.
So this is going to be launching on July 1st, right? And Jody, thanks so much. It's so nice to see you here. Of course, many of us recognize you from your sports days.
Yes, very good to be home. It's nice to be back in the city and here on Breakfast Television with the boys.
Yeah, and definitely, a pioneer in women in sports.
There you go.
Well, yeah, there were a couple before me. Terry Leibold just comes to mind, kind of cool. But I've definitely had a good little turn. I started here in the mid-'90s out in Burnaby, and then got the opportunity to work at Sportsnet and there with Jim Van Horn. This is actually a highlight of my career, was sitting atop the waterfront when we got the Olympic announcement here and working with the Blue Jays. And just I had a really, really great turn in sports. And it's really fun now to get back to Vancouver and really be a part of where I started, which was in music radio.
Now, Bill, so does she know more about sports than you? Is this...
I think she's probably super immersed in it now, and her superstar status also trumps any knowledge at this point. Yes, she's. I watched Jody go from somebody who was raised by her father, a coach, and hanging around the games, like pretty much the gym rat kind of thing, to going and making herself just a supreme broadcaster in the world. So yeah, she's a superstar in that.
Wait, it's not because he's Mr. Generous Broadcaster that I got my chops at all. I just want to jump in there.
Yeah,
very, very sweet.
But, so Patrick, what do we expect from Shore 104? What are we going to expect from these two and from the format?
Well, we've got some wonderful people, first of all, that we've brought into the fold to be our hosts, and we've got some music that we feel was really missing from the musical landscape of Vancouver, something that is very authentic and natural and kind of has a West Coast vibe. There's a lot of artists that are fantastic that don't get any airplay, like, say, Ben Harper, Dave Matthews, Jack Johnson to some respect. And you mix them in with some artists that, are heritage artists like the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and Van Morrison and people like that, and you put in some new stuff as well. There's so many amazing talents in this country and in this city that should have airplay and deserve airplay, and we want to give it to them.
Well, this is what's great, because you're going to have some emerging artists that are going to be featured a little bit on the show, which is great, because as somebody that is an independent artist or someone just coming out, what a great opportunity. Now, Bill, you guys are going to be doing a little bit of jazz as well. Now, I understand you're the son of a jazz singer.
I love sitting chatting with the jazz singer.
Well,
the festival's on. Yeah. I am, and my sisters can sing. My mother's a beautiful singer. I'm the least talented Courage in about 5 generations.
You play a wicked stand-up bass.
Spoons.
You play a
really?
I can rock the spoons, but yeah.
You do.
If we're going to be playing jazz, it'll be the architect of it all. The visionaries are Bob Makowitz, and he's had a lot of help with Patrick and of course Roy Hennessy. But we're going to bust out in song, aren't we? I'm allowed to play jazz, but in the all night show, we're going to do some hours.
Texture of jazz and blues and stuff. Artists like B.B. King and John Lee Hooker and people like that will enter into it, because blues music is something that you just don't hear on the radio, and folk music, and the whole roots element is what we want to enter into this rock sort of. Roots and rhythm is our sort of mantra.
And it'll be great having Bill and Jody together, because, of course, you guys have had a long-term friendship, but the chemistry, you can already see it right here. I can't wait to hear it on air. You guys are participating in the fireworks as well.
Right.
Yes,
the fireworks, the celebration of lights and music. I'm really excited about some of the artists we have playing down there when the fireworks are on. Just sort of an intimate thing for people who gather down around the bathhouse prior to the fireworks beginning. Do you want to tell a little something about who's coming?
We'll have the Shore Fest stage down there, and what we're going to do is provide music for those people that are waiting there 4 or 5 hours sometimes sitting on the sand. So right on the bathhouse, sort of stripped down versions of all these acts like 5440 and The Odds and blues legend Jim Burns, who's also an announcer and going to be having a show on Saturday nights on the station, and other acts like David Go-Go, and it's a great element of artists that are going to provide something for people on the beach that they don't have.
That's great. Well, you guys are live on July 1st, of course, for the afternoon drive, but people can hear you in your test mode right now on shore104.com. So thank you so much for joining us.
Got the world out of strings, sitting on a rainbow. Come on, I just want to bet. You got to join in.
I just want to hear you.
That's for you, dude. That's for you, baby.
No way. You guys are the stars. We can't wait to hear what you're doing on the radio. Thanks very much for joining us. It is 8:01.